Tonight, live at 5, a monster hurricane barreling through Florida. Will it affect us here in Georgia? Then, more details on a shooting at an Athens gas station. And later, how a local nonprofit is trying to solve food insecurity. All of that and more right now on Grady Newsource.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College, City of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening, I'm Donna Traylor. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first, we're bringing you the latest on a Category 4 hurricane making landfall right now in Florida. Take a look at these live images of Hurricane Ian lashing the Florida coastline. What you're seeing right now is in the heart of the storm. You're looking at the Sunshine Bridge in St. Petersburg. These choppy waters are just 100 miles north of where Ian made landfall. The bridge is one of the most heavily traveled areas in Florida, and it's clearly getting hit hard. For more on the storm status, I'm joined now by weather reporter Abby Walton. Abby, what's happening on the ground right now?
Hurricane Ian just made landfall at Costa Caya in southwest Florida. You can see the eye of the hurricane right over here, and NOAA says the Hurricane Ian is currently classified as a Category 4 hurricane, but with those winds at around 150 miles per hour, it is now projected to be nearly Category 5. Now, Ian is traveling at around 9 miles per hour, which is pretty slow. It's sitting on the coastline, and it is just dumping more and more rain as we speak. In some parts of Florida, the hurricane is bringing in extreme levels of storm surge, with swells reaching at least over 10 feet. Now, in some areas, I will have more Hurricane Ian updates later on in the show, as well as how it is going to be affecting us here in Georgia.
Thank you, Abby. Taking a turn to local news. Police are taking measures to improve safety after a shooting in Athens over the weekend. Grady Newsource reporter Aubrey Granzo tells us how they are trying to keep the public safe.
Police are investigating a case of aggravated assault involving a 24-year-old male in Athens, Clark County. They are looking through surveillance videos and following leads to nail down the suspect. The altercation occurred at the Shell Food Mart off of Tallahassee Road, where two men began to fight over a gun. Struck by 2 gunshots, the victim was transported to Piedmont Athens Regional Hospital and, although wounded, is not believed to be suffering from anything serious. The department releases key strategies that may uncover and nail down the suspect.
We're out there proactively patrolling. We always prioritize, high-level violent offenders. We kind of have people that are on our radar.
Police residents can stay informed on crime in the area through the police department's transparency website. This safety measure provides crime data and interactive maps of crime-ridden areas. Despite the county averaging 13 shootings a month, residents say that they feel safe.
My time that I've spent here, about the last year and a half, we've really not had any issues with problems with people and safety.
As the shooting is still open under investigation, the Athens Clark County Police Department will be releasing any new information as it becomes available. For Grady Newsource, this is Aubrey Granzo.
Mental Health Awareness Week begins October 2nd, but the Madison County Fair is recognizing it today. Grady Newsource reporter Sarah Train reports how the fair is getting the message out to local high school students.
Since 1948, the Madison County
Thank you, everyone. I apologize for technical difficulties. Right now, a new elementary school in Barrow County will open next fall. But what kind of school will it be? Grady Newsource reporter Mary Lou Masters tells us what's going on in the forefront of people's minds.
While construction of Barrow County's 10th elementary school is well underway, the Board of Education is still deciding if the school will follow a traditional or alternative model. The school system could either rezone and open a traditional K-5 elementary or open a 4th and 5th grade academy. The new school will only affect those in the Appalachia cluster.
With the traditional rezoning, students at the 4 elementary schools in the Appalachia cluster would be affected. About 250 to 300 students at each of those elementary schools would get shifted to a different school. And so that would also then filter up to the middle schools as well, and they might see some shift.
On the other hand, Roundtree says the intention of the alternative option is to cause the least amount of disruption possible by only affecting 4th and 5th graders across 3 elementary schools. With this model, Auburn Elementary would have their own 4th and 5th grade academy on their campus due to their distance from the new school.
If they were to change it around and have more of a centralized school that people could get to easier, it might be something more feasible.
The new school will be right here at the Innovation Campus on Austin Road.
With the growth that Bexar County has in place, rezoning is going to happen within a year or two anyway. So I kind of feel like they're just postponing the inevitable.
Families and staff from the affected area were recently sent a survey to voice their opinion. The results will be reviewed at several informational sessions in the coming weeks.
Our Board of Education will be in attendance at those meetings so they can listen and hear how families are feeling about the different responses as they weigh those opinions and thoughts and questions into their final decision.
According to Roundtree, a final decision is expected sometime in November or December. For Grady Newsource, this is Mary Lou Math.
Before ballots can be cast for the November 8 elections, the voting equipment must be properly tested. Grady Newsource reporter Michael Doty shows us what it takes to get these machines ready for voters.
Voters can cast their ballots on election night. Several poll workers must test the voting equipment. They began the process Tuesday morning inside the Facilities and Landscape Management Building. This activity is known as Logic and Accuracy Testing, or LNA for short. The workers meet from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day until all the machines are proven accurate.
So we run everything through the scanners. We run it through our reporting system, the same as we would with the information on election night, to make sure that all of the steps, the full process, are tested, they're giving accurate results.
Russo says they are currently testing the ballot marketing devices, or BMD, which includes a touchscreen and a printer. Voters use that to print their vote. After that, they begin testing the scanners, which they get from the ballots from the LNA of the BMDs.
The importance of doing logic and accuracy testing is to make sure that each piece of equipment is operating properly and it has the proper election loaded, that the ballots look the way they're supposed to look when the voter pulls them up.
Now, there are a lot of machines to go through in there, and despite the 6-hour days that these employees work, McGlon said it could take anywhere between 2 to 5 days to complete the LNA testing on all the machines. Russo said the LNA must be completed before early voting starts on October 17th. As a reminder, the deadline to register for the November 8th election is Tuesday, October 11th. Reporting for Grady Newsource, this.
When we return, find out how Uncle Sam is giving Jackson County seniors a major upgrade.
Staff and seniors alike are celebrating.
In high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers, he connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far. place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Over 40 counties in Georgia were recently awarded grants to fund community development. Grady Newsource reporter Justin Nimitz explains how Jackson County will use these grants to update their senior center.
At the Jackson County Senior Center, staff and seniors alike are celebrating a Georgia State grant to expand their facility. The $1 million grant will help cover Jackson County's $2.2 million budget, reserved to extend various areas of the center. Renovations include expansion of 2 classrooms in the dining room, the kitchen to extend their Meals on Wheels program, the activities room with new pool tables, and the fitness center for yoga and Tai Chi classes.
When they have hip surgery or knee surgery, the machines, it really helps them out so they don't have to go. They got stuff here that they can do that they can't do at home.
Other than activities, the center serves as a social hub for seniors.
It's just wonderful. I've never been to anything like this in my life. I can't even say how good they are to us.
And the center's heartfelt public hearings, sent to the Georgia Department of Community Affairs, helped Jackson County receive this grant.
Some folks, they don't have any family anymore, and this is their one reason to get up every day, see their friends, and have a nice hot meal.
For Kathy Branyon, the grant will improve their facility's goals.
Our mission statement is to keep them healthy and well, and so they'll be able to come and not have to go to the nursing home and be able to stay in their own homes. Because most of the time, that's what they want. They want to stay in their own home. And that's what we try to do.
For Grady Newsource, I'm Justin Nimitz.
Athens residents met with the Historic Preservation Commission to discuss the idea of Normaltown becoming a historic district. Grady Newsource reporter Wayne Andrews explains what a historic district entails.
Athens-Clarke County's District 5 Commissioner Tim Denson hosted a town hall meeting at Normal Bar to discuss the Normaltown neighborhood potentially becoming a historic district. Cold beer and questions led the way throughout the meeting as residents were informed by the Historic Preservation Commission about what that would mean for their city.
This was just a first start at the conversation, kind of gauging interest and seeing and making sure everybody has a shared understanding of what a historic district would be and how it could benefit them, but also how it could give them maybe some headaches sometimes.
Denson and the Historic Preservation Commission started this conversation after a number of Normaltown homes were demolished at the beginning of the year. Labeling neighborhoods as historic districts protects old buildings and homes from demolition. However, residents who live in these districts must ask the Preservation Committee for permission before making updated changes on the outside of their home.
A lot of times people get excited at the idea of a historic designation without thinking through how impractical for certain home types that really can be.
Some residents question the effects of a historical district title, but Commissioner Denson emphasized there will be many more public meetings in the future before any decision is made. For Grady Newsource, I'm Wayne Andrews.
Hurricane Ian is currently plowing through the Sunshine State. After the break, weather reporter Abby Walton returns with more on what this storm could mean for Georgians.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woo-hoo. Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Abby Walton is back with us live for more Hurricane Ian coverage. Abby, how could this storm affect us as it moves through the southeast?
Thank you, Donna. Now, looking at Hurricane Ian's path, it is projected to make its way up throughout East Georgia within the next few days. And as far as Georgia goes, Governor Brian Kemp has issued a state of emergency, and many schools in the southeast Georgia have already shut their doors. Now, the Atlanta airport has stopped flights to Tampa, Sarasota, Fort Myers for the time being. Now, looking specifically at Northeast Georgia, by the time it has traveled enough north to get up where we are, it is projected to be a tropical storm or a tropical depression. And we will be seeing those effects within the next few days. Now, what that means for us is that we will be feeling some increased wind speeds as well as some heavy rainfall that should hit throughout the weekend. Now, looking at this graphic, we have some marginal and slight risks for flash flooding in the Northeast Georgia area. The flash flooding warnings increased from moderate to high as we move more towards the southeast. Multiple counties in Florida have mandatory evacuation orders issued, and it has approached land. This has caused many major Florida roadways to become jam-packed with cars as people evacuated their homes and made their way to safety. Now, although Hurricane Ian has not had any direct effects in Northeast Georgia just yet, we are seeing many sporting events getting canceled or rescheduled. Donna?
Thank you, Abby. So for more on those canceled games, we're joined now by sports reporter Gabrielle Vitale. Gabrielle, is Ian going to ruin Friday Night Lights?
Yes, there have been many changes to sports schedules due to Hurricane Ian. Friday Night Lights have been moved to Thursday in all high school games in Athens, Clarke, Barrow, Jackson, Madison, and Oconee County. The storm might also affect the Atlanta Braves and New York Mets Friday game. The Braves won their game against the Nationals last night 8-2. This win puts the Braves at first place tie with the Mets in the National League East. However, Major League Baseball is monitoring how the hurricane will impact their 3-game series in Atlanta. While the Braves were in Washington, D.C., they stopped by the White House to celebrate their 2021 World Series win. The White House press secretary responded to questions regarding the controversy around the Braves' name, saying the president and administration believes that it is an important conversation to have. Governor Brian Kemp opposed the change by saying in a tweet that the Braves will always be Atlanta Braves. Donna?
Well, thank you, Gabrielle. When we come back, we'll be hearing about how the UGA Botanical Garden hit a 50-year milestone.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're home before sunrise, on top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
One organization has supported the State Botanical Garden of Georgia for over 50 years of fundraising and volunteer service. Grady Newsource reporter Madison Harwell digs up how they were able to plant this milestone celebration.
Our memory sees what it wants to see.
The Friends of the Garden organization is celebrating 50 years of memories. Since 1972, this group has come together to support the mission of the State Botanical Garden by providing a helping hand in many different ways. The Children's Garden is just one example of a successful addition to the State Botanical Garden, one that the Friends of the Garden work to help build, fund, and maintain.
The Friends have provided deer fencing, we've provided buildings, we've provided some staff salaries.
For half a decade, this organization has provided services ranging from saving endangered plants to organizing fundraisers for the garden. To celebrate this milestone, friends and Athenians alike gathered to enjoy a special performance by Randall Bramblett. Even while celebrating their own organization, Friends of the Garden members continued to offer their services by volunteering at the event.
I'm still in a dream.
Liking it. I mean, the vibe and the atmosphere is amazing here.
Yeah, it's really cool.
so cute. Yeah.
For more information on this organization and their role at the State Botanical Garden, visit botgarden.uga.edu. For Grady Newsource, I'm Madison Harwell.
A program in Jackson County is inspiring kids to want to go to the library and read. Grady Newsource reporter Nicole Norvell tells us how a man's best friend is making this possible.
The Brazelton Library gets a guest appearance from a four-legged visitor. Every Tuesday, Diane McCune and her golden retriever, Zeke, visit the library to read with visitors. All of this is a part of a program that encourages children to read more as a whole. Here I am outside of the Brazelton Library where Miss Diane and Zeke come to read with the visitors from 4 to 5 every Tuesday. Zeke is a registered therapy dog, and at 5 years old, spending time with kids is just part of his weekly routine. When Zeke arrives, he lies down in the kids area of the library, where children pick out a book and read to him, with Diane helping with any reading problems they may have.
I love the way you chatter, the funny things you say.
The people are wonderful, the kids are great, and we just really enjoy it.
Diane started Read to Zeke over 3 years ago. After she retired from work, she felt that she had too much time on her hands, so she got Zeke certified and started the program.
It's been a pleasure to be able to come here and have an opportunity to have this experience.
Read to Zeke encourages children in the town to want to go to the library when he's there.
I think it's really cool. I mean, my sister loves animals and she loves to read, and I think it's a really great program. I mean, she gets to do 2 of the things she likes to do.
Aside from the opportunity to play with the furry friend, the program influences kids to build on their reading skills.
She's more interested in coming into the library, specifically when Zeke is here, and she loves just reading and having people read to her.
As for the future of the program, Diane and Zeke plan to continue visiting residents of Jackson County at the library, as they don't see an end to Read to Zeke in sight. Grady Newsource, Nicole Norvell.
What a cute story, and I know I would be excited to go and pet a dog and read to a dog if I had the chance. But coming up next, what this Georgia nonprofit is doing to help hungry families.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
You know, a lot of people say, when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, that's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Food insecurity is a continuing problem around the country. Grady Newsource reporter Ben McKettrick gives us more on how one nonprofit is solving this around North Georgia with its own twist.
With inflation on the rise and groceries continuing to increase in price, families are finding it harder to put food on the table. For Athens area and North Georgia residents, the solution can be found inside the box. Religious nonprofit There's Hope for the Hungry partners with churches around North Georgia to provide groceries for community members in need once a month. The goal for this nonprofit? To spread its religious mission while decreasing food insecurities.
Our purpose in life is to try to help people with their physical needs by providing food, but also we come along to try and help with their spiritual needs as well.
Since its creation in 2003, There's Hope for the Hungry says it has fed more than 1 million people, including 250,000 children. In this year alone, it has helped almost 10,000 families. However, the nonprofit, along with its churches, has faced some limitation in bringing notice to its trips.
From a numbers perspective, though, you know, we're not necessarily worried about the numbers so much, but as far as wanting the word out so that we can reach as many people as possible, that can be problematic.
There's Hope for the Hungry most recently traveled to Moons Grove Baptist Church just north of Athens this morning. There, around 30 families received packaged groceries from both the nonprofit and the church, including Madison County resident Shane Eklund, a 4-time beneficiary.
I mean, it's been a great help. You know, with financial stuff right now is getting hard, I know, for a lot of people.
Outside of Moons Grove Baptist Church, There's Hope for the Hungry partners with multiple churches around the Athens area, including the First Baptist Church of Carl and Bear Creek First Baptist Church. The ministry will travel to these Barrow County churches on October 3rd and October 4th, respectively. Reporting for Grady Newsource, Ben McKettrick.
That is definitely some important work, but that's all for Grady Newsource today. I'm Donna Traylor.
we scored?
Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs.
I can't believe I missed that.
Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone.
What? I should take your phone away.
No. I'll call for a ride.
Wait, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
Kevin, I need that back.
No.
Kevin!
Alright, that was a good show, guys.
What do you mean
guys,
good? That was exceptional.
That was fabulous. Yes, yes, fabulous. Had some hiccups on the tech end, on our end, with that first double box with Donna and Weather, but we persevered through. And that C block, that very scary C block sequence I saw in the rundown, y'all did fabulous on it.
You guys did fabulous on it.
Big thing is, if a package comes in after 4:30, go in there, run in there, let us know immediately that it is coming through. We had a hiccup with one of the packages. We could not air it because it came in
at 5:53, at 4:53, and that's unacceptable.
And we didn't have time to transcode it and all that, so we just had to completely disregard with that package. And then any changes, of course, that happen in the show, like with that discussion, let us know before they know, so because we were in the process of getting them set up, and then it was dropped, and so we had to pan the camera back. But just another thing, just make sure we know before the talent knows as well. And then also any packages, video, both shots, any video components that come in after 4:30, just run in there and tell us that it's coming in, so we know to put it in and all that, so we don't have to have another situation like we had today. But overall, like Professor V said, that was fantastic what y'all did today. I'm liking all the new stuff that y'all are trying. It makes our jobs fun, and yeah, that's all I have.
And you guys did amazing. We'd never tried so many different things, so many firsts. The live
it's a lot of firsts for us too.
The live sports, we always have that recorded, so that's much easier. You just take a recording. There were so many moving parts, and everybody, did their part, and it just worked. But I think the biggest kudos go to our producer, who had to step in because we had the producer who was supposed to do the show had an emergency, so he stepped in at the last moment, had this amazing vision on this very news heavy day to try new things with a breaking news story, and you guys executed it brilliantly, all of you, the anchors to the SPMs and everybody, and I'm so proud of you, because this was really, again, I'm saying exceptional for your I mean, this is what, our fifth or our fifth show or fourth live show? Yeah, and this is just incredible. We made a decision. I know I kind of, put you guys, this morning I just said, well, why don't we do live weather and live sports? I saw a lot of worried faces, but all these worried faces practiced real hard. Practice makes perfect. With you guys, you spent a lot of time practicing, and you were prepared, and you were confident. Nobody could tell how nervous you guys, Abby and Gabby, you were extremely nervous, but you worked so hard. You had a little cheat sheet. Only one thing, neither of you ever looked at, as you can see, and you try, but that is just like I'm nitpicking. It was wonderful. You had never done it live, and even when you were recording, Gabby, you never looked. Even when you were recording today, you didn't look, but you were so, both of you were just calm and collected. Nobody knew that you were shaking like a leaf before that. And Donae, I guess it's Donae's zen kind of passed on to you. Danae, that was also exceptional. What you did, for the first time we had an anchor who was ad-libbing little reactions. Unfortunately, you weren't on camera because nobody expected that but the ad-libbing was just, it was, you know, you were spirited. Maddie takes the #1 prize for a lead, which you could tell how Danae enjoyed the planting and your package came together. I have to look at it again, but it was so beautiful with all the nat pops, and you even had the archive pictures, and it was, and you went there on your time off to shoot it. I just, yeah, you see when you write for broadcast, when you write conversationally, that's why I am, you know, being so, how should I say, demanding on you to kind of tell me what your story is about. And when you tell me what your story is about, you actually, you become conversational. I want to also commend Wynn. This was so far your best package. You did a great job with even the Tim Denson interview, the way it was so interesting, the way you had him sitting on a bench. We'd never had that before. He was sitting, you had the rule of thirds. Your B-roll was very interesting. I will look at it again, but I think this was your best work so far. And you also went on your time off to get that done. And yeah, and Nicole's package also wanted to commend her. Where are you, darling? Yes, also was very, very interesting. I wasn't able to look, and I'm probably missing other people's work. I will look, you know, I look at things carefully because these were the packages I was able to kind of focus on right now. The interaction, we had that glitch with the first live pop with Abby, but then when you did the other live pops, I saw that, you know, both reporters were tossing back to you and you were thanking them, which didn't happen with the first one because there was the live glitch and everything. But, you know, I just, and again, I apologize that I'm not able to acknowledge the work of all of you as MMJs because I was not able to follow as closely as I wanted everybody's work. One thing I noticed, there's a web scroll that was really dizzying, uneven audio again, I noticed, and the Zoom interviews, try to avoid them, but when you do them, try to have the person, you know, imagine that they have to have a lower third. So one of the Zooms had a lower third over the chin of the person. So I don't remember whose package that was, but just be mindful of the lower thirds. Yeah, yeah, it's just you can tell how happy I am, and with all of you. So it really takes a team to pull this off, and you know, it was just wonderful, and I thank all of you for the hard work, and especially commend Harper for having that vision. Let's give you the mic, Harper. It's tell us how you pulled this off, and so that other people can also learn from all the new things we did today.
It wasn't anything crazy to pull off. I think we just got blessed today with like a really cool breaking news day, and that doesn't really happen all the time, and especially not around here. So we were able to kind of take advantage of the fact that there's literally a hurricane coming towards us, and we had great anchors, great show staff, great technical team that was willing and able to do it. I don't really know.
Yes, and this is a very important story, and we were able to localize it and really treat it in the right way by informing people about how it's going to impact us here in Georgia, what had happened already, flights canceled, things that affect our audience in real ways. Many of us, me included, have friends or family in Sarasota, in Tampa, where it hits. So people like me would want to know the latest on that in Florida. So it was done it was planned in a very thoughtful way in which we were really informing people about a story that is not affecting us right now directly, but will affect us towards Friday. And we needed to inform our audience about what was going on in Florida as well, because many people have connections. They might have family and friends, as I mentioned, and we had never done live sports and live weather, and it was impressive that you guys found the connection, that there were even sports. It was even impacting sports. It was such a calamity that it even brought cancellations in sports events as well, which shows the magnitude. We were able, with these, with this team coverage between the three anchors, to show the magnitude of this monster of a storm. And so I really commend you for having that vision to bring that all together. And special thanks to our engineer, Tom, who worked really hard to pull this off for us, because technically this was really hard, and he prepared everyone, and he thought about the radar, the live radar, and those live pictures, and how we would use them. All this was, he's not here amongst us, but I think he deserves special recognition for that. So I'm really happy with everything that happened today and what we were able to accomplish. Would love to hear, Harper, if you want to add something, but I would love to hear from you guys. How was that for you, for the three anchors also for the first time? Share a little bit of how that felt for you guys, and whether, or any other advice you would have for other people to give them the confidence to go live and experience that, because this is your sandbox, and you need to use this opportunity to go live whenever you can. And so I would love for us to continue the live sports and live weather, and for the anchors to think of ways to interact with each other, which worked really good even when there are no breaking stories. Sorry, Ben, we had to cancel your Q&A. We had another, but something we have done already before that, but we had to cancel his Q&A, which happens in the real world. I told you guys once I had to cancel an interview with a king because there was breaking news. So these things happen in the last moment, and the news, we're doing the news, and people understand, and I've been canceled, my live shot was canceled or whatever when there was breaking news. So that's, you don't take this personally when it happens. Jim, would you like, from your point of view as an executive producer, how?
Yeah. So first off, just want to say great job today, guys, again, with getting everything together. I think the ability for us now to go out and shoot stuff, bring it in, edit it, it's becoming super fluid now. We're all getting really good at it. So that continues to be a plus, and it makes the job a lot easier, especially for the producers, to kind of not only map out the show, but just kind of throughout the day work with you guys on, changing a script here or there, fixing a lead in the rundown, and just getting that all adjusted before we have showtime. I kind of think about 3 weeks ago when we were trying to hit that 5 o'clock deadline, we were all panicking at 5 o'clock, and then now once 4 o'clock hits, we're all like, hey, we kind of got the show ready to go. So great job on that. Great job on all three anchors today collaborating. That was really cool. I think doing a live shot like that will be a lot of, more interesting and a lot more fun to do in the future going forward, especially if we have another big day. Another big news day, and as the fall progresses, there'll be some more sports and stuff for us to talk about. So we got that to look forward to. I really want to highlight Wynn, Nicole, and Madison today for y'all's packages. I thought you guys did a really exceptional job with that. Madison and Nicole, you guys had some really good feel-good packages. Those are always good to kind of end the day off before we hit Sojo, so good job on that. But yeah, everybody continues to get better. We dealt with technical issues in the booth, kind of interrupting our show. So Danae, good way to adjust on that. I know it's always a little nerve-wracking when you have somebody in your ear saying, hey, you're going to go live right now, or we had a technical issue, like, hold still, hold still. So good job on that. The one thing that I want to see happen, which is yet to happen, but we'll figure out how to do a time for it, is the Sojo conversation post the package. We keep on running out of time for that, so I think if we can, maybe for Monday's show or next Wednesday's show, figure out how to at least say maybe a minute or two to do that. I think that would be a really cool layer to add to the show. But again, good job today, guys, and enjoy the weekend.
And thank you for stepping in to be assignment editor and developing what Michael did very well. I really like the way that now you're beginning to own this. And Michael, your package also, I want to commend you. Oh, you've got to want to commend you also that what I saw, I didn't see the whole thing, but that was not an easy, that was so important to inform people about how they're testing those machines. And I think from what I saw, you pulled it off very well, because it's not visually, it's a challenge to do. It was a very important topic and very important story. So I commend you also for doing that. Again, I'll watch everything, but it's over to you.
Yeah, they also had me in like a very restricted area, so I couldn't move
You
around.
did a great
lot,
job.
So,
We'll hear from you as well. So here's the mic. When
was,
you're done.
Just try to get creative with a mix of wide shots, medium shots, close-ups, establishing shots.
Yes.
All the great jargon we learned in this class.
Yeah,
But
and it was a very important story, difficult to visualize. Yes.
yeah, some things work out sometimes.
When you
The backup story came up clutch.
They work out when you work at it. Yeah, yeah. And so give your wisdom on, you were the first ones, pioneers, live sports and live weather.
I was very scared, but it's not as bad as you think once you practice and know what you're talking about. And then I have my little notes card just in case, so just scared of the prompter going down. But it kind of just felt like the pre-recording. Honestly, when you're back there looking at it, it's not as bad live as you would think it would be. As long as you know what you're talking about, it's good.
Yeah, that's you know what the secret is to being confident, and it's preparedness. And that's what you guys did. You were very well practiced, you worked hard at it. And there's nothing like being prepared. And sometimes there's breaking news, and sometimes things happen and you have to think on the fly. And but the more prepared you are, the more you know your stories, the easier it is for you to handle unpredictable situations. And Donae did a great job. She had to handle quite a few things, and she worked really hard. And you could tell even her ad-libbing showed. I mean, this kind of ad-libbing doesn't just happen on the fly. I know it happens when you know your content and you've thought through, because you don't want to be too flippant. You want to make sure you have the right tone, and I think you were right on the mark. But I know you were, because you knew your stories well, and that's really important. And you guys were on the mark, and people couldn't tell you were shaking like leaves, because you practiced, because you worked hard to be prepared. You wrote your own stuff. That helps too when you write your stuff. And so just share. Abby, what about you? If you're finished, Gabby, you can pass the mic to Abby.
I think Gabby, Donae, and I going in there and practicing really, really helped my confidence up there.
There's nothing like preparing.
Exactly.
To give you
Practicing
confidence.
helped me a lot. And I think if the next person who's doing weather does go live, something I would recommend preparing for is just being able to point to the screen and explain what's happening. We had a little hiccups. It was kind of hard for me to do that, but that was something that I wanted to do. And I think we should do that moving forward, is just like look at the screen and explain what you're talking about. But everything's mirrored, and it's hard because when you look at the screen then look back at the teleprompter, it's hard to like lose your spot. So I think practicing that for the next person and trying that out could be good.
Well, I have another solution which you won't like probably. It's to ad-lib from your notes, and that's when you're liberated from not being locked at the prompter, but really having your notes and having the key things you want to say.
I agree, and I think I wish I ad-libbed, honestly.
Especially with the weather, you have prompts, which is actually the graphics.
Exactly.
With sports, it's a little different, because there are a lot of facts you have to nail, and But with the weather, you can always go live with your
Right.
notes.
And it makes it more conversational.
Yeah, and it's more conversational, and trust me, you'll enjoy it, and you loosen up. Your performance will improve, and you will enjoy it more because you will you try it.
I agree. I wish I did it today. I guess I just got a little bit nervous because there was so many
You did.
things that I wanted to hit at.
I am
today is a
so
huge
proud
weather
of
day.
what you did, and this was a very serious story, so it wasn't the right
Yeah.
story for you to try to ad-lib, because it's not
a
just
lot of
giving us the
information and
forecast. This was
numbers.
serious information. You had to give people the right facts for something so serious as this monster storm. So, but in the future, my suggestion is to try to ad-lib the weather, guys, as much as possible with having your notes, and you've got, you can practice, like you said. I practiced, and that gave me the
A lot
confidence,
more
because what you
confidence.
did was much more complicated than just giving us today's weather and the 5 weather forecast and a weather-related story. I want to encourage the people who are doing the weather to think of climate change as part of climate stories also. Anything, environmental can belong in that weather-related story. And just keep the forecast short and to the point. People want to know what the weather is today, and they want to know the 5-day forecast and if the weekend is going to be good or not. Once you're through with that, then you can do more in-depth, something related to the weather today, or you could start doing little environmental things, little web. I don't know. Go to weather.com and see how they have expanded their realm of coverage with a lot of other interesting ideas. It'll give you ideas as to how to expand that weather, and that's when you can do chit chat with the news anchor with a follow-up question about a weather-related story. So, and that establishes you as an expert on the weather and on weather-related stories. So you can really expand on the weather-related part of it and do live interaction with the anchor. Same with sports. Donna, you wanted to say something.
Yeah. So I think both of them kind of touched on it, but practice was kind of what really made that all flow so well. I think one thing to note too is even as we were down there practicing, because we did get down there like 2 hours early, more updates were happening with the storm. That's not necessarily always going to happen, but that was what was happening. And Harper's up here like updating the scripts as we're down there practicing. So it's like maybe you haven't even. I think Abby had parts that she had not even seen when we actually went live, as far as the scripts being updated. But because we had practiced it and done those run-throughs, she was already so comfortable and kind of in her element.
Exactly.
While we were there, that she didn't have to stumble or trip over the fact that, oh my gosh, this is even new content that I haven't even seen. Even though obviously she knows kind of the information, she just doesn't have the exact wording down. I think that was really important. And then also to whoever is news anchoring in the future, I don't know if this has been said before in the past, but make sure that you read over each one of your leads individually, and like, because it is, most of them are, well, not most, all of them are being written by someone that's not you. And so sometimes people are we're all from different places, so sometimes people are going to word things differently than how you would word it, and you'll kind of stumble because it's not natural to how you would say something, and then you're kind of like,
and read it out aloud. You can never go wrong.
Yeah, so that's a big thing I think that helped me as far as like staying kind of smooth with things today. Was I went through beforehand and like obviously without changing what's being said, made tweaks to what was written so that it would make sense with how I would say it. It's like, I don't know, there's like one time where someone said like put in like some fancy word, and I was like, I'm from the country, we don't use that I would never say that. So I was kind of like, I'm not, I changed it, and that kind of helped me. And then the only other thing that I would say is, and this is something that I never would have done this beforehand, but I learned this while I was in my internship over the summer, with having your leads and everything that you're going to say printed out with you. I do like stacked laying, where I do like A block this direction, B block, and go back and forth so that it's easy to tell what's what. And then as like, for example, let's say I lead into Madison's story, and I'm like, and we'll hear more from Madison. Like, move that out of the way, and then while her package is running, practice whatever you have coming next. That's what I did over and over and over again. I was like, okay, let me see, because it's like, maybe I want to put some inflection on this, maybe I don't, maybe whatever. And I know I'm pretty bad about anchor voice, but like, you know, the more that you say it, the more comfortable and conversational it's going to be. So I mean, I practiced all the way up, and they're like 10 seconds, 30 seconds, like, or 5 seconds on A, and I'm like still sitting there, and then I'm like, okay. And then I'm ready to go just because I've practiced it and got it down in my head or whatever. So, yeah.
Excellent advice. Excellent advice. We've got 1 more minute. Anybody wants to share some more thoughts about what you saw? No one wants to talk? Anything you experienced today that was different, that you learned something? That
I think we're all trying things. I think it's going really well. Like with the
and
3
what I
balls,
saw, I was just loving the teamwork and how you all got along, the 3 of you, and how you put it all together and you practiced, and I could tell the chemistry, the viewers could tell that there was chemistry and that you guys were on the same page, and it was just wonderful. I have to watch it again, but from what I saw, I could tell that you guys were friends, that you were working together, you were really all interested, and there was this chemistry, which was really important also. There was just this good vibe today in the newsroom, even though we did something exceptional. We'd never done that before. I don't know if it was the fact that you were challenged in a new way, but there was just this nice vibe, and I think it came also from our leadership team. So it was just a wonderful day, and I thank you guys, and I look forward to. I can't wait to see what you're going to try next week, and I think I applaud you. And let's do it again. Let's innovate. Let's do it again on Monday. It's Wednesday today. Yes, on Monday. Get some rest, and thank you all. Thank you all.